In this video, we're going to review the new tools and updated features in version 24 of MPanel Pro. Version 24 includes 3 new modeling tools. First, the Draw Advanced Conic tool now supports building multiple conics at the same time and ensures the mesh M-surf is the same for all joining meshes. Here we have 2 3D polys representing the corner connections and 2 circles placed above the base representing the conic top plate or bail ring. We select everything, then run the Draw Advanced Conic tool, and MPanel will automatically build the model. Delete old to remove the old circles, which have now been replaced with 3D polys. Then select everything, and with variable warp stress checked, relax as a joined edge mesh. Once the relaxation is complete, delete old, and you can see the joined meshes have joined correctly. This same procedure will work with more than 2 conics, except you'll need to manually disconnect the center connection so the meshes can relax to the correct position. Second, a new poly float constraint has been added called Define Cable Ends, which helps MPanel calculate the cable tensions in complicated models. In this example, we can see 4 equal-sized meshes. However, after relaxation, the middle is not located symmetrically. This is because the inner cable lengths, fixed point to fixed point, can take several different paths in this model, resulting in different cable tensions and a non-symmetrical solution. So we add a 3D poly connected to the center point, then select the poly and assign the new poly constraint. When we relax again, the 3D poly is allowed to move and we get a correct relaxation. The third modeling change is the Add Corner Plate and Add Corner Discs tools have been improved to include reporting the adjusted cable lengths in the physical model report. In this corner plate example, we can see the edge length is reported as 8126 millimeters and the corrected length 7226, which is 900 millimeters less. If we zoom into the corner, we can see the 450 millimeters deducted from the end of the cable. This assumes the use of a stud end cable like this, and that the cable length is measured from mid-thread to mid-thread. Note that if the cable tube is longer than the clamp plate width, then you will need to add on the extra length to your cable length. In the corner disc example, we can see the edge length is reported as 8126 millimeters, and the corrected length 8013 millimeters, which is 113 millimeters less. Zooming into the corner, we can see the 113 millimeters deducted from the end of the cable is the difference in the length between the green polyline and the yellow arc. This represents the cable wrapping around the corner disc. The other useful new detail we can see is that the corner angle is now reported in the physical model report. This is another new feature in version 24. We have 2 new visualization tools in version 24. The first tool allows us to add a hole in a mesh, which allows some design creativity, such as shown in this example. We simply draw a circle and move to the desired location, then select the mesh and the circle and run the tool Add Hole in Visualization. This is for presentation purposes only and will not carry through to the pattern. In order to locate the hole in the pattern, we can add points to the hole by selecting this option. We then get a copy of the points and using the copy snap, add them to the original mesh, then change their color. Now in the Panel Complete Mesh, we select Join Colored Points and run the panel tool. And we now see the circle detail on the panel. The second tool allows us to superimpose the main seams and panel numbers onto the 3D model. In this example, we panel multiple meshes to create the panels, then take a copy of the mesh model and panels, select both, then run the new Show Seams in Model tool, and we can see the superimposed seam lines and panel numbers on the mesh model. We've made improvements to two paneling tools in version 24. Panel numbers shown in the MPanel text window are now the same as the panel ID numbers. This wasn't the case in earlier versions, so this change makes it easier to track panels during different stages of a project. Paneling multiple meshes now arranges the panels in a defined order. This wasn't the case in earlier versions, so this change improves logic for production. A new panel modification tool has been added called Panel Cutout, which is useful to add cutouts to panel edges to avoid obstacles or allow for structures such as downpipes. There are several ways to employ this new tool. The simplest example is manually adding a polyline, normally to a panel with seams already added. Then select the polyline and the panel, and the shape will be cut out. For a smoother detail, we can use an arc, for example, or some other shape. Then use the MPanel tool to convert the arc to a polyline. And then when we run the tool, we can see a smooth cutout. If site details are measured digitally at the time of surveying the site, they can be added to the mesh as a series of points. We change their color on the mesh. Now in the Panel a Mesh tool, we select Join Colored Points and run the panel tool, which applies the detail to the panel. When we run the Panel Cutout tool, MPanel will use this detail as a cutout. The Seam Allowance tool has a new option to choose if the panels are marked on the underside, which swaps lap over and lap under to simplify panel seaming decisions when viewing the panels from the top side. PVC sails are often marked on the bottom side of the fabric, so the fabricator can assemble with the bottom of the fabric facing up. Previously, this was complicated for the fabric pattern designer when determining panel shingling to ensure correct water flow. With the new option, the fabric designer can view the panels from the top view when adding seams and decide on water flow, and then simply instruct MPanel that the panels will be marked on the bottom side, and the lap over and lap under will be automatically swapped correctly. In these two examples, we can see the weld to line is on the left side of the panel. When the panel is flipped, then this edge will be on top and will correctly lap over. Two new utility tools have been added to simplify the procedure of adding diagonal cables. The first tool in Mesh to Poly is the addition of mesh diagonals to polylines. This produces two diagonal polylines, one for each diagonal. We select the required diagonal and copy it to the model. We then use the second tool in Convert Polys to convert the diagonal poly to lines. Now, by adjusting link tension and relaxing, we can change the shape of the diagonal. Thank you for watching. For more information, please contact support@mpanel.com.